Hello everyone, this is Omar from the Third Rail and free from the leftist activists. We're here to talk and discuss things. He's from the left and I'm the liberal piece of shit over here. So we differ, but we agree on many things. Welcome to the podcast. What's up, Free? What's up, my young... Oh, I forgot. The Sundown Kids. Was that and the Butch Cassidy and the Sundown Kids. What's up, Free? How you doing, my brother?
Doing pretty fantastic, Omar. I feel pretty great for this show. Maybe, current events and the media, won't be that beneficial for everyone's mental health because, it really takes a toll on people, keeping up with, events in the world. But, I'm ready for it in this show. So
how was your week, though?
It was busy, but, I'm glad to be back here because, I could only get so many segments out so fast. That's why we had to reschedule it for Tuesday instead of just have it Saturday like we usually do. Yeah, because the segments were just so long to edit. But, we got them out and we're back here now.
All right, what's on your mind, Free? Where do you want to start there? What's going on?
Okay, so I want to quickly just get through the really, pressing concerns.
Yeah,
the stories in the media. So I just want to quickly cover Biden's visit to Ukraine. I want to focus on the train derailment, and then I want to do Tate help for another month. Then we can get into the reaction commentary style of content. So we got to get through these news stories somewhat fast, but we don't have to instantly do it. So
go ahead. Start with what you think about the visit, the surprise visit with Biden to the Ukraine.
A lot of leftists give me shit for this, but I'm really glad, a really fascistic, imperialist, capitalist threat is kept back, from the Western social democracies. I like that. Ukraine's a fairly liberal country, and Russia is this petrolocracy, this just a gas autocracy, and I really do like to see that, much to the dismay of a lot of online leftists. So here it is, Warsaw, Poland, Associated Press. This article is from. So President Joe Biden on Tuesday warned of hard and bitter days ahead as Russia's invasion of Ukraine nears the 1-year mark. Which is within 3 days, but vowed that no matter what, the United States and allies will not waver in supporting the Ukrainians. Just a few more paragraphs here. A day after his surprise visit to Kyiv, Biden used a strongly worded address in neighboring Poland to praise allies in Europe for stepping up over the past year and to send a clear message to Russian President Vladimir Putin that NATO will not be divided and we will not tire. 1 year ago, the world was bracing for the fall of Kyiv. Biden said before a crowd of thousands outside Warsaw's royal castle, "I can report, Kyiv stands strong, Kyiv stands proud, it stands tall, and most important, it stands free." From Rosneft oligarchs. Anyway, with Russia and Ukraine each preparing spring offensives, that's when shit's really going to go down. Biden insisted there will be no backing down from what he's portrayed as a global struggle between democracy and autocracy. Though polling suggests American support for ongoing military assistance appears to be softening. So, as this war drags on, and honestly, I really do think it's going to go on for a few years at the very least. Americans are fed up with, just sending aid over to foreign countries and not getting it here in and of themselves. And I don't mean to shit on the American people here, but so suddenly now you care about the U.S. sending foreign aid. I typically don't hear people complain about Israel or Saudi Arabia, who's perpetuating a genocide in Yemen, or Chile, or pretty much the entire global South. We've, installed dictators in, and we've done all this lunatic interventionist foreign policy. Every autocrat we've propped up, never hear about it from American people. But when it comes to fending off capitalist imperialists, suddenly everybody flips their shit. Yemen, nobody gives a fuck. Brown people, it's just rudimentary. The U.S.
So to go back to your beginning, Russia is nothing but a gas station with nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
Russia doesn't make anything. It does grain. It sells a lot of grains to the world. But have you ever went to the mall and say, "Well, I'm going to buy this Russian phone. It's called Russia iPhone 7." You never heard of that, right or wrong? So
No. It's just
yeah,
Silicon Valley products, and
yeah.
everybody buys it.
Yeah, so Russia is owned by the oligarchs here, by about 20, 30 people. They own the wealth of that country. The reason that the war is not the Ukrainian war, it's our war, really, because Putin was using the playbook from the 1930s that Hitler used to protect his minorities in the neighboring countries. He was doing the same thing. Oh, we got to invade this country, Georgia, because we got to protect the Russians and the minority. We got to take Crimea. We got to, we got to protect them, and we got Moldavia. So if we don't fight him in Ukraine, we were going to fight him in the Baltics. And in the Baltics, it's going to be a direct war between NATO, the United States, and Russia. And it's going to be a worse war.
Yeah.
So what we did is we found somebody to fight and die for us. All we have to do is just give them the weapons. You understand what I'm saying here? So if the Ukrainians are willing to die and destroy the Russian machine and drown Russia in debts and military expenditure, then we're going to do it. It's cheap. The only thing I have a problem with before I give you the mic is, let's say we say there's $4 billion worth of weapon to Russia. The problem is when you're giving away, there's no negotiation. Let's say a tank costs like $300 million.
Yep.
If you bought it directly, if you were the owner. The whole idea is it's going to cost Ukraine about $700 million because everybody's got to make money because it's almost like a donation, but it's debt. They're going to owe us stuff. You understand what I'm saying? So a $40 billion aid is like $20 billion. Probably half of it goes stolen, overpriced weaponry, hand greasing all over the world. Now, what I think about the visit, we're going to go back and forth. I think it was a bit dangerous because imagine if something happened to Biden there. I mean, what are we going to do? Start a nuclear war? Unconvinced NATO provoked the war. Of course they did because they needed to. Let me just address them. My friend, the reason you're probably right is because Putin was acting up. Putin was making a lot of problems. He was interfering in the election. He was trying to destroy the NATO. He was doing a lot of shit outside his country. You understand what I'm saying there, Free?
Yeah.
They were trying to find a place to get him. You have to understand about Western powers. They're patient. They don't like somebody who makes a lot of noise. Like Gaddafi, they got rid of him. Saddam, they got rid of him. Is there somebody who makes a lot of noise and gives them a lot of headache? They were trying to find a place to get Putin in. They couldn't do it in Syria because they could have done it there, but they were afraid the weapons they're going to give to those mujahideen is going to be the same problem they had in Afghanistan. Then how do we collect those weapons back from these people? We don't want to teach them our weapons. So they found the right client. The Ukrainian people are willing to die. They're willing to fight. Okay, we give you the weapon. And you guys, if you die, it's your country. But they are brave. Go ahead, Free, man. But I think the Ukrainian army is a brave people. They are fighting against the biggest army machine in the world, one of the second largest armies, or probably the first in numbers. Go ahead, man.
I mean, I really don't see how NATO provoked the war because here's the thing.
Yeah.
CISTO, or it's technically pronounced Kisto, because it's Collective Security Treaty Alliance.
Yeah.
Belarus actually expanded to Poland's border before NATO absorbed Poland. And obviously by absorbed, I mean NATO members voluntarily get in because, NATO is voluntary. Was the Warsaw Pact voluntary? No. I don't think so. Yeah, no. The answer is no. So I just don't get how NATO provoked this war. I mean, NATO's done some imperialist stuff. Don't get me wrong. Especially in Libya.
When I get you, I'm going to give you some history what happened. Go ahead. Finish your thought. I don't want to. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I think not letting this, petroleum dictatorship get a foothold next to Western social democracies is a really good move, for the advance of just freedom. So go ahead.
I'm going to tell you what our failure is. When the Soviet Union collapsed in 1989, they had Boris Yeltsin, a drunk guy who was weak. He had nothing, no money. Instead of embracing Russia and bringing them inside the European fold, they don't have to be part of the European Union. It could be just maybe 10+1. Instead of bringing the whole Russian people and open the economy, we took all the countries around Russia into the European Union, into NATO, and we left Russia out. So Putin did, I read Putin did go to NATO. He said he wanted to join, but they say it's a process. You have to wait. He said, "Why do I have to wait? I'm a superpower." He's arrogant a little bit. Then he went to the European Union. He wanted to join the European Union. They said, "We can't because your population is almost half the European population. They will have too much power inside the. They will have the same problem as Turkey. Turkey has 70 million people, so they did try. Our problem is we did isolate Russia. We just grabbed all these small countries, grab, and we promised not to do that. When the Soviet Union, we're not supposed to even go into East Germany, and they said, "Oh, the whole idea is historically Russia. If you look at the history of Russia, Russia is not an aggressive country. It's always been on the defensive. It's always been invaded by the Mongols, by the Turks, by every motherfucker. Excuse my language. By every Tom and Dick and Harry. Russia was always on the defensive. Historically. Let's just put that on the side. Okay, the whole idea is why will Yeltsin just saw the United States go through a 20-year war with people who wear fucking sandals and they couldn't defeat them? All of a sudden, they come out and say, "Hold my beer, let me get into a war and destroy my country's economy and military." That's why I cannot understand how he got himself into that situation as that. But we do have a lot of a role to play. We isolated Russia. Politically, economically, and militarily. When you have NATO all surrounding your border, it's a bit scary.
Yeah.
Look how we treat Cuba for 60 years later. We still have an embargo.
Yeah, they got really screwed over by us.
You understand what I'm saying? So we had an opportunity to bring Russia in 1989. It was we could have even took their weapons. They were handed their weapons gladly if we took them in. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
But what we did is it was a failure upon failure and upon failure, and always ends in war because war makes money and conflicts make money, and that's what happened. And I think Putin fell into the trap that Saddam Hussein fell in Kuwait when he invaded Kuwait. They did the same thing to him. They needed to find a place to get him in. They got him in there. Now they got him where they want him. Now they're going to bleed Russia to death like they did in Afghanistan in the 1980s, if you remember. But now even worse. Because they want to give real weapons to the Ukrainian, because Ukraine, is a white country, it's a Christian country, so it's okay to give them that kind of weapon and trust them with that kind of weapon instead of some Arabs running around the fucking mountain with stingy weapons. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying they provoked it. It's a long process, but the whole idea, you're almost 70 years old, and all of a sudden you decide to expand. He's 70 years old. What the hell are you doing, man? I mean, you could have started that shit when you were in the 60s. I mean, it's weird, man.
Well, what especially gets me about this war is the rationale for it. Like, the Nazis, I mean, especially in Azov, there are definitely some, white nationalists. But the Wagner Group was named after Kurt Wagner, who was Hitler's composer. Yeah. It was founded by Prigozhin and him, and plus a guy with SS tattoos on his collarbone or something.
I'm gonna play devil advocate today. Go ahead. I'm gonna be the Russian guy today. Go ahead.
The DPR and LPR.
The Wagner. We're on the Wagner guys. Okay. What's that? That's like the private army, right? The mercenaries.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they were saying, okay, get the Nazis, get the the Kremlin's employing these guys, and Putin's very own caterer is the alleged owner of this guy, and now he's going around in prisons himself saying, okay, you're going to join the Wagner Group, and if you desert, you're going to be shot. They're not covering up anything now, but okay, go ahead.
Okay, look what we did in Iraq. We had Blackwater, 150,000 private armies went around Iraq, killing people and raping women and doing all that. So it's a mirror image of us. The only thing is, when we do it, it's okay. But when somebody else does it, look at them, they're crazy. No, the Wagner Group.
Blackwater was barbaric.
Yeah, it's barbaric. And still now you have Eric Prince, who is the founder and member of the Davis family. The lady who is the Secretary of Education. He's a very rich man. He has a headquarter right now in the UA. He was assassinating the Yemeni political leaders. You can look it up. He's still for hire. So he's a fucking terrorist or war criminal, if you want to really look at it. And we do the same thing that they do. Do we need to fight in Ukraine? Yes, we have to. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like wars. You don't like wars either. But I thought if we don't stop Ukraine there, if we don't stop Putin there, we'll have to stop him someplace else. and it's going to be more costly and more dangerous in the long run because dictators are fucking they're like addicted to power and greatness and all that. He thinks he sees himself as, I think, Peter the Great, and some fucking hero in the
he compared himself to the most expansive of the Russian czars. It was insane. Hey, I mean, I think he's losing it, man. I really do.
He is. He's losing. Like he has plastic surgery, so his face looks like a cat. You saw him? He had plastic surgery.
But yeah, from the finest plastic surgeons in Russia, and they can make him look a lot younger.
He used to look good. I mean, I remember he used to look, all of a sudden his face, it looks like, when you have plastic surgery, we have some women, they look like a cat. They all to stretch out, the whole press. It's weird. You don't know how people think. Because when you're a dictator, or you're narcissistic, there's nobody there to say no. Remember in the beginning of the war when his head of intelligence, he was scared and shaken to talk to him on live TV. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
this is the problem. There's nobody.
He was grasping onto the table and like moving his foot.
Yeah, there's nobody there to tell him no. It's going to be a long war. He keep on saying nuclear weapon. We're not scared no more. We have the same weapon he does.
Yeah.
So, okay, if you want to play that game, we'll vaporize them too. Russia, he made a mistake. Two things could happen to save Russia. They could overthrow him in the palace, in the Kremlin, and get a new leadership. But I think it's our fault too, because we decided not to make Russia a democracy or bring it to the fold of Western culture and Western economic. We invested in fucking China. China is worse instead of investing in Russia. You understand what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if Russia, as economy was becoming good, they were intertwined with our economy, but all that money. Oh, what do you? He's in Ukraine. By
it's flickering.
This is the what do you call them? The sirens. This is passed by the Russian planes that pass on by.
Yeah, Christ, the FSB's after me, man. I mean, the SVR has tons of sources in Florida, man.
Yeah. So what I was saying is that.
All right, there it is.
First of all, I think about the Biden's visit. I think it was a bit careless and dangerous. There was no need for him to go. And for 40 hours, 20 hours, he's on the train. I mean, a lot of shit could have happened. Imagine if something happened by accident or by collateral. If they hit the train, they don't even know he's there. What are we supposed to do? Then declare nuclear war on Russia? That's okay, don't it? You know what I'm saying? So that'd be
a major step up.
Yeah,
in force.
God forbid if there's something happen. This is our president. We'll have to react in a certain way. You understand? But it's all about money, Free. At the end of the day, it's a lot of weapons being sold.
Yeah, that's the only reason
it's all about money.
Republicans are on board with this.
It's the industrial military complex. They're making money. The war in Afghanistan just finished. They need to make money to keep the stock going up and keep revenues going. What I'm telling you is, right now, when you're in distress and you're getting aid from a third country like the United States, you're not negotiating the price of the products you get in. They're just giving you products at the price they want to do. For example, I told you, if a shotgun, whatever, if a sniper rifle costs $300 in value in the market, they're probably getting it for $900. Because you know what I'm saying? Because it's almost taxpayers' money. We're more thieves than they are, our people. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I don't like them. They say, "Oh, we just get $40 billion." That's a lot of money. Imagine $40 billion is like the a whole year worth of fucking weapons for some countries. You understand?
Yeah,
that's the whole issue we have. Eventually, we're gonna defeat Russia. Not defeat Russia, but we're gonna bleed it to death there. And Russia is going to withdraw from Georgia and all those countries in the end. And I hope when this guy is gone, they're gonna embrace Russia, bring him to the fold.
Yeah,
but I hate when they become friends. You need a third pole. What's that called? A pole? What do they call them? Power struggle. Because remember when Russia collapsed, we had two wars because there's nobody to stop us in the United Nations. There was no competitor. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you need somebody to keep you on your toe. But anyway, whatever happens. I told you we found people willing to die for our cause. That's all it is.
Yeah,
like the Russians said that America is going to fight to the last Ukrainian. You know what I'm saying? All right, well, you want to go? You want to add something to it?
No, because we've still got tons of articles.
Yeah, I feel good. We could go over now. Don't worry about it. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Trump's on Ohio toxic train derailment after lawmakers send in to blame game. So this essentially proves why Trump and just deregulation in general all are to blame for the East Palestine toxic train derailment. I'm gonna read a few paragraphs off the top, then we're gonna both give our thoughts. So former President Donald Trump has remained silent over the toxic train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio. Actually, let me get me the night driving thing. What's it called? There we go. Okay. Let's take the volume.
Yeah.
All right, sorry about that, folks. So, Mr. Trump, who's running for the White House in 2024, oh, God help us, has yet to comment on the 3rd February incident, which saw around 50 rail cars of a Norfolk Southern train, some carrying hazardous materials, go careening off the tracks. Critics have pointed to the Trump administration's decision in 2017 to roll back an earlier Obama rule, which required some freight trains to use electronically controlled pneumatic brakes if cars were carrying flammable liquids. Oh, excuse me. Several Democrats appeared.
Palestine is overwhelmingly white.
Go ahead. Put that. No, so I want to put that video after you finish yours. Go ahead.
Yeah, several Democrats appeared to place blame at Mr. Trump's door. We are concerned that the Trump administration rolled back some of the safety rules and some of the railroad safety and worker safety rules. Ohio Senator Sherrod Brown told The Independent earlier this week, every chance Republicans get, they weaken worker safety rules. Listen to this. They weaken worker safety rules. They weaken environmental rules. They weaken consumer protection rules. So what we want to know, if we've got to fix that, but that doesn't help East Palestine now. Now all they can is just, let the chemicals burn and just put out the fire cautiously as to not risk a shrapnel explosion. This is what Republicans do every time they're in office. They just deregulate, cut taxes, cut environmental protections and regulations, and everything goes to shit. Folks, they don't care about you at all. They don't.
Okay, my problem with that is the way they came out. The right wing came out with a narrative that was a bit scary. Like, for example, let's look at this small video for a second, just to give you an idea.
White, and it's politically conservative. East Palestine is overwhelmingly white, and it's politically conservative. More than 70% of the voters in the surrounding county supported Donald Trump in the last election. That shouldn't be relevant, but as you're about to hear, it very much is. 11 days ago, a 150-car train derailed in East Palestine, and when it did, it spewed poisonous chemicals onto the ground and into the surface waters. After the crash, the Ohio State EPA found evidence of butyl acrylate in the Ohio River, as well as in the creeks and streams that feed it. Now, this was a concern for more than simply East Palestine, given that the Ohio River supplies drinking water to about 1/10 of the entire U.S. population. Right. So this train derailment was an environmental disaster. Not an environmental disaster like climate changes, but an actual environmental disaster.
That is possibly an even more significant environmental disaster, Tucker. I don't know. Like, okay, you had me in the first few seconds about, this being an absolute environmental disaster, and it was, but climate change is. Anyway, what were you going to say?
The narrative was, you saw in the beginning, East Palestine is white, is conservative, and they all voted overwhelmingly for Trump. Is it relevant? Yes, it is. And he never answered that question. They started this narrative, Tim Pool, Charlie Kirk. It's a war on white. I couldn't understand how the train derailed in a town that's only 5,000 people. There's a war on white people.
Palestine is overwhelmingly white.
You put it in? You did it? Or? Who did it? You did that?
Yeah. I sorry, I had my mic muted. I just wanted to see if that was the entire clip. You played the whole thing, right?
Yeah, I played the whole thing.
Okay, great.
He never talked about what it has to do with the war on white people. Charlie Kirk did the same thing. It's a war on white people. Tim Pool had a whole fucking segment and was reading about extremists and all that stuff in a Time magazine, and he didn't want to read the whole thing because it was alluding to right-wing extremists. You understand what I'm saying? So the whole idea is they pretend that it's the fault of Biden, whatever. But you know what it is, that they had these regulations in 2015 by the Obama administration. Donald Trump came and deregulated everything. They had this incident. All of a sudden, they're crying foul. Oh, they're trying to kill the white people. You have to blame what the blame itself. I want you to be honest. You understand? Don't be honest to your viewers. Forget about me. Don't make something up like that. Something dangerous. There's a war on the white people by who? Ohio, the governor is white. The Senate in Ohio is white. The House is white. Everything is white as fucking in Ohio. You understand what I'm saying? So what are you trying to say? There was the government was there was a terrorist attack or something trying to kill 4,000 people in a small town. Why would they pick up?
Yeah, they'll blame it on Antifa or the Jews or whoever.
That's some dangerous shit, man. What they doing free is dangerous, man. And they just making things. They're making these things up, and they're not thinking about the responsibility of what they saying and how people hear it, because a lot of people believe what they say. You saw those segments on the
They'll
Daily
believe
Show.
anything. CRT, showing kids rainbow flags is tantamount to raping them. They'll believe just anything. I'm convinced you could tell. Vaccine magnetization or communist influence or whatever the shit. You could tell them that. I don't know, some preposterous claim that the moon is made of cheese. They'll probably believe it, especially if they're far gone enough. They will believe it. Trust me.
Yeah. So if you have a viewership of 3 million people a night, they're gonna watch that. And okay, what's the repercussion of that? I mean, what are we gonna do if people believe that and they actually take it to heart? What do you want to start? I mean, do you really want people to start killing each other in the street? I mean, with this dumb fucking narrative you're doing, you're supposed to be. It's a fucking okay. He had it right in the end. It's an environmental accident, right? And there's a danger to the environment, and it's going to endanger a lot of life. People are probably going to get cancer. And I hate every time an accident happens, they start giving out money, and people just want to pick up the $1,000 shit. Get the fuck out of the village, man. Don't stay there until the shit clears up. Go to another city. Because I'm from New York. I saw Manhattan. A lot of people died from the fumes from those buildings. Cancer, lung cancer, all those fireflies, God bless them, they all died 10, 15 years later from all these cancers. It shows you that you cannot trust what the government say. But the whole idea, there's no war on white people. It's not a war on anybody. It's just an accident. It's corporate greed, followed by government deregulation and stupidity and corruption in our government that does not want to put up the things up to date. They have brakes that are 100 years old. They want to put an electronic brake. Go ahead, Free.
Yeah, and this is the fundamental contradiction of conservatism and this whole legacy Americans keep America American shtick that they do. Even people who dog whistle to make themselves come off as these white nationalist types, they don't actually care about white people at the end of the day. This is the worst part of politics, because at the end of the day, you legitimately think you're talking to an interlocutor who thinks their views are the best for society, and you think your views are the best for society. But the sad reality is that's just not how it is. 90% of the time on the show, we're debunking these grifters who just say anything and just put in as many sponsorships in their videos as possible because they're in it for the money. They don't believe in that conservative nonsense. I honestly think, few people do. But they don't care about white people, because if they did, they'd blame regulation on this. Remember when Tucker passed himself off as a populist? Okay, well, if you're truly a populist, which you're not, populism inherently can't be right wing. When you pass yourself off as a populist, why not blame corporate deregulation and lobbying and laissez-faire capitalism for these environmental and humanitarian disasters?
Yeah. Just tell the truth.
Wait, you don't, because you're ultimately beholden to the same interests those neocon, neoliberal lunatics are. You're the same species, except you're a little more racist, maybe a little more protectionist to signal that you're, a bit of a populist. But cases like this just demonstrate that you're the same breed as them, man.
He makes $35 million a year from Fox News. You think he's gonna give that up?
Jesus freaking Christ!
Okay, he'll go out and start fire on his own. If shit doesn't happen, he'll start going out and start shooting white people in different areas just to create a crisis. Like what's that name? Charles Manson. Charles Manson, right? You heard of him? That killer?
Yeah, Manson.
Was it Charlie Manson? What did he say?
Charles Manson, I think.
Yeah, that's their leader. That's because he's the original one want to start a race war by killing the Tate and all that stuff and wrote the Helter Skelter. I call him that's their leader. Anyway, the whole idea is that they want to blame Biden and the Biden administration. This is a state. States have rights. The governor, DeWine, said that when the president first called him, we have him on video. He said, I told him we don't need anything right now. Then the next day he walked it back. The president said, anything you want, it is at your discretion. Whatever you want, whatever you need, we'll give it to you. Oh, but I mean, the federal government cannot just go in there. They have to be invited first to come in. You have to understand state right and federal right. This is a state issue. And then when you have the failure leadership, Republican failure at the state level, where they just watch and burn the things down, and still like 3-4 days, almost 10 days, right, before people started talking about it, sounding the alarm of what's going on. The whole issue is here, white people need better education, access to better education, access to better hospitals or healthcare, access to economic opportunities, minimum wage. If you want to really help these people, that's what you got to give them.
But they're not going to give them that because they don't want them to have that. And they don't want, better educational opportunity. Yeah. They don't want, a more wealth equality. That's just against their interest. But that's pretty much all I have to say about the trendy railmen in East Palestine. I don't know if you had any closing remarks.
I'm good. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to quickly cover this story and then get to a really big bombshell. And then after that, that's going to be it for these like article type stories. Okay. So, wait, let me pop okay, come on, refresh. Sorry, folks, technical issues with Chrome.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Not like we're on TV.
Okay. So, Romania and the Romanian legal system wants to hold Tate in for 30 more days. Also, remember when this guy said, I don't know if you... no, 30 more days, actually, a month. Sorry, I misspoke. Remember when this guy said he was bald by choice? He wasn't balding, but he decided to shave his head anyway. Yeah, real alpha male, totally not, insecure about his totally not thinning hairline. Anyway, let's just skim a few paragraphs off the top, then we'll give our thoughts. So, excuse me. A court in Romania's capital agreed Tuesday to extend social media influencer Andrew Tate's suspension on suspicion of organized crime and human trafficking. The SVR is at it again. Anyway, another 30 days, an official said. Tate, 36, a British U.S. citizen known for misogynistic views, who has 5.1 million Twitter followers, was arrested December 29th when authorities descended on his property north of Bucharest. His brother Tristan and 2 Romanian women are also are in custody in the same case. None of the 4 has been formally charged. Romana Bola, a spokesperson for an anti-organized crime agency, DCOT, told the Associated Press that the Bucharest tribunal approved prosecutors' request to hold the Tates for another 30 days while the 2 women will be put under house arrest. It was the third 30-day extension granted since the Tates were arrested. The brothers also lost an appeal on February 1st of a judge's January 20th decision to keep them behind bars while investigation continued. A document explaining that the earlier decision said the judge took into account the particular dangerousness of the defendants and their capacity to identify victims with an increased vulnerability in search of better life opportunities. Eugen Vidinas, I don't know how to pronounce Romanian names, one of the lawyers representing the Tate brothers, told the journalists before Tuesday's ruling that the defense team would challenge another extension if one were issued, insisted the defense have effectively paralyzed the evidence, in the case so far, and that there was not enough to keep the Tates in custody. Well, okay, he's going to have to appeal this decision now, since they've decided to keep him in court for 30 more days after the initial court holding, which lasted for a month. And so this is 2 months now he's gone on in prison. And Omar, I think what this really demonstrates is criminal justice system's propensity to just find Tate to be this really dangerous and a really malevolent person. Because when you've not only been held, your detention has not only been held for a month, then the appeal is denied, then you're held for another month. That just signals to me that, your case is not looking too great, and the justice system is not liking you at all. What are your thoughts?
Okay, my whole idea is, my whole shtick idea is, why all of a sudden did Tate become dangerous all of a sudden in the last 3 months? If he had these cases for the last couple of years, or these suspected, and there was a release. You saw that there was a release of some emails by the girls,
Yeah.
You saw them. I don't know how accurate they are and things of that nature. We don't know what the due process is in Romania like we have here, so I don't know how they do it. The man is wealthy. He owns a house, whatever. They could always give him bail or put an ankle monitor on him, whatever they can. You understand what I'm saying here? So right now, it's kind of a bit confusing. Tate is going to become a martyr. The more he stays in jail, the more people are going to say, look at him. Oh, look there. They are punishing him because he's telling the truth. He's speaking truth about, or the Matrix, whatever we want to call it. He calls it the Matrix, whatever it is. Tate is an interesting guy. I think he's a showmanship. I think he's a circus-like guy. I saw him.
He's definitely a character.
Yeah, he's a character. I saw him in Vice when he was talking a lot of shit. As soon as they went to they stopped recording, he started talking normal. It was like he was a different guy. You understand what I'm saying?
I talk shit for fun. It's all, in good fun, and it's all a game.
The problem is, I'm from the Muslim community, and a lot of guys are saying, oh, since he became a Muslim, look at it, they put him in jail. How come they didn't put him in jail before? I don't know what the hell that means or anything like that. I even think he's a real Muslim. I think he's just using it as another...
Okay, he calls himself a Muslim, probably, to justify his beliefs about women, because, he's using Islam malevolently. He's like... just using it as an excuse to ad hoc his beliefs about women. There are tons of Muslims that aren't, misogynistic, but he's using Islam in that bad way. But his fundamental contradiction is that he's drinking, he's smoking, he's gambling, he's pimping out allegedly trafficked girls, in search of better opportunities, and he's like telling he loves them and luring them over to his place in Romania, and he's constantly having sex with women, buying Bugattis as he calls them, and he lives this hedonistic lifestyle, pretty much all of which would be called haram in Islam. But he's constantly harping on Muslim women to stay in line and to follow the Quran and the Hadiths as they are written, in original Arabic. But and also I don't know what branch he's from, because he hasn't.
He's not of any branch. He's just using Islam as an excuse to
because
he's probably doing more harm to the religion than the religion does. And you understand what I'm saying? Islam is not misogynistic or talks about women down to women, things of that nature. He's a fake. He's a foreign. He's a petty pimp to get these girls in a room and put them on cameras just to make money. It's petty. You understand? It's not even real pimping. You understand? He put the pimps to shame in the United States. They probably upset his ass, but they're finally going to beat the shit out of him in the United States. And what he did is he's just using these girls and these cameras and all that stuff. He's petty, and I think he's gonna wither away. People like him. They come once every 10 years. They have these little fucking pop. They get lazy. Then people just forget them in the long run, and people just move on. He made his money. I don't know if he still has that money. They haven't taken it. I think he has, I don't know how many followers paying $50 a month for some fucking dumb, what is it called, Hustler University? Which actually it should be called You're Getting Hustled University, not the Hustle. You're Getting Hustled University.
Yeah, he's doing the hustling and you're being hustled. So the only way to, really make a hustle is to teach people how to quote unquote hustle, but instead just fleece them of their money, and that's how you make it back. So, I'll just rent a $300 pair of sunglasses, put it on, shave my head, and talk like this for the rest of my life. Except when the cameras are rolling, then I can actually say, it's all in good fun. I just talk shit sometimes.
When they rent them and they put them just for the picture, for the video, then they give them back. I seen some guys, they used to get on these private planes. They just rented, not rent the plane, just rent the pictures. They get in there, they take pictures coming in and coming out. Remember they caught him, the rappers, and it was all
Yeah.
fake. They're not traveling, no fucking. It was just a photo shoot. It's all about what's that? What do you call the word? I mean, it's about
Showmanship?
Yeah, showmanship or visualization. It's like people eat with their eyes. When you like see nice food, you eat with your eyes. So people follow their eyes, especially here in the West. Young kids are fucking lost on all that shit.
Yeah, that's why, the mental health of a lot of these kids is, so fucking bad. They see these idealized lives and they don't know. 99.99% of the time, that's unachievable, people. Yeah. Okay? There's probably some dishonest element of it.
All of them.
And, meritocracy...
He's the same
I don't think it works out for most people.
He's
okay.
the same guy as Jordan Peterson. He's the same shit. Only Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, because what I've noticed is that both of them just give the most generic platitudes about things you could intuit. Like, I was reacting, I don't know if you saw this, I was reacting to his video, and the crux of his arguments came down to, if you go into a business establishment, notice how you could do things better, and if you want to succeed in business, make money and keep it. And that was the entirety of the substance of his video. I'm like, yeah, okay, anybody can do it that, but how? Easier said than done. How do I keep money in business? Okay? How do I scale in business? You're telling me to just, build your business up. How? What is the process? Okay. So, again, just at the most generic shit that you could learn pretty much anywhere. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, it's weird. Just fuck him.
Yeah.
Because my land.
Oh well, yeah. Fuck him. I'll say it too.
Piece of shit.
Fuck, I want to use the bathroom. But coming up,
ahead.
we have. Thank you. Coming up, we have a real.
All right.
I want to show you all.
I'll entertain them until you come back. This is Omar. We waiting for free. Has to go to the bathroom. He's human at the end of the day. We hope you're enjoying the show. Please support the channel. Come on, guys, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to help us out here. Mad Manje. What's his name, man? It's been a crazy week. You have these fucking right-wing narrators. It's an attack on white people. They're trying to kill them white people with those trains. Come on, stop the fucking bullshit, man. Stop. We gotta be honest with people. We gotta be honest with what we say. I could see a lot of crazy shit on my fucking. I could just start saying this crazy shit on my fucking platform, and I bet you I get a lot of people. Not like this. Look at that, it's dead in here. But I would get a lot of people in here. All I have to do is just lie and create this situation where I'm telling people things that aren't true, or sell them a bad bill of goods on things and ideas that are dangerous. You know what I'm saying? So that's the whole issue here. Yeah, let's wait. He's back.
All right, just turn the light back on. And fuck yeah, I need to find the link to this. So, a few months ago, the right was panicking about this, supposed transgender teacher who wore enormous, prosthetic breasts in front of children, and they thought it was creepy. Well, actually, I'm not going to spoil it for you. Yeah. So,
okay, good.
Gender teacher proven to be. Okay. Here it is. Yeah, okay. So I found the article. I didn't have it linked for whatever reason. Yeah. So, trans teacher with Z-cup prosthetic breasts presents as a man outside of school, where students were told they would be suspended for taking her picture. Huh. Supposedly, transgender teacher actually presents as a man when she's outside of school? How could that be? Okay, let's get into the weeds more here.
Okay, the trans, what is it, a man or woman? I'm very confused about it. I'm going to be honest with you with the stuff. What does that mean? Could you translate for me? Trans teacher.
So,
with a Z-
in essence, it's an op. It's a right wing op.
Oh, it's nothing.
It's a right wing op. Yeah. It's pretty much like a false flag wouldn't be the correct term, but it's a right wing op to make leftists and transgender people to be like creeps when they actually aren't. Wait, this guy, this fucking asshole, or this woman, I'm just gonna revoke all gendered pronouns and call them a they them because we don't know at this point. Okay, so this horrible human being was calling themselves a transgender woman and then wearing these absolutely enormous breasts and dressing as a woman to make transgender people look bad.
Lady, right?
Yeah, with the enormous fake breast.
Oh, I saw that.
That the right wingers were just shitting themselves over months ago.
Yeah.
And it turns out it was an op. The whole who could have fucking thought? A transgender person this bombastic, this cartoonishly presenting. And that's you think that's real? No, nobody does that. Okay, so all this person had to do, because in order to be transgender, in most professional settings, you can say, oh, my internal perception of myself is that which is feminine, and I have dysphoria, therefore, I think I'm a woman. So all this, transphobe had to do was just call themselves a trans woman, present as female, then they think, oh, this transgender person's grooming kids. Well, isn't it odd that they're presenting entirely masculine-like when they're outside of a school setting? Could it just be that this is a conservative op, a false flag in the social sense, if you will, to actually blame transgender people and leftists for grooming when they're actually doing the grooming and the cross-dressing and the gender fluidity themselves? Right-wingers are so repressed to the point where they have to masquerade their cross-dressing and their, secret gender fluidity as, some sort of own against the trans people. Well, let's face the reality. You have this manifest desire to, cross-dress or actually transition as much as. And you mask it and you repress it in this sort of like performative gesture against trans people. So I actually want to elucidate the full context of this. So we were told 𝖴 or however you pronounce that French name, wears Z-cup prosthetic breasts and presents as female. However, a neighbor claims it's all an act and has seen her dressed as a man. He wears prosthetic breasts extremely infrequently, the neighbor said. So pretty much every time this person is outside of school, they're just presenting a man. Yeah. How odd is that? That specifically they wear all these wigs and all these makeup and all these women's clothes at school and all these fake breasts at school, but every time they're outside of school, they're just presenting as a man. Tearing itself up. Anyway, I'm just going to read maybe 5 paragraphs in this, then I'll talk about the context. The transgender high school teacher in Canada who went viral for her prosthetic Z-cup breasts was allegedly seen by neighbor dressing as a man outside school grounds. 𝖴리𝖾유'이𝖴, previously known as Carrie, or possibly still known as Carrie because, this person is presenting as a male this entire time, wears extra large breasts with artificial nipples under tight tops along with flex shorts and a blonde wig. She teaches at Oakville, Trafalgar High School near Toronto in Ontario. Students and parents have raised concerns about 𝖴리𝖾유'이's attire, saying it mocks women and the education experience. Until now, the board has supported her decision to dress that way, and in December, it emerged students had been threatened with suspension if they took photos of her. I totally believe. I totally believe this is a legitimate transgender person and not a total right-wing op. Yeah, definitely. But a neighbor who lives in the same complex as 𝖴리𝖾유'이𝖴.
No.
Omar, I mean, mean, isn't this how all trans women are? These hypersexually deviant, molesters of children? Or at least that's what Tucker's taught me to think about them.
Yeah.
They're definitely not just normal, everyday people who you wouldn't mistake for the opposite gender, unless you thoroughly, examined every facet of their body. Now, but, okay, a neighbor who lives in the same complex as Lemmy claims he's seen her dressed as a man out away from work. The neighbor, who remained anonymous, told the New York Post. The New York Post actually first broke this story, which was fascinating because they're this like Nazi tabloid shit. That Lemier's presentation as a female is all an act. And early on, I said to them, "You actually fucking believe this isn't a total right-wing op?" The dishonesty is so astounding. Okay, so obviously there's her. What do you want to say?
Why would the school let her come in like that? Even if she was a regular woman, I wouldn't even let her come like that.
Yeah, I think that was excessive. Yeah, I think on the school board's part, that was, very excessive.
This is an app, right? That's not a real transgender. They're just doing that just to make fun of transgender people, right? Try to create a controversy or what?
Yeah, it was fake the whole time because the narrative they want to sell you is that, transgender people are raping your children when they show you a rainbow Apple logo. But it's every one of these, attempts to make transgender people look like they're indoctrinating children and, being sexual around them is actually a right-wing op. So it's, in truth, the right-wingers who are being sexual around children and then blaming trans people for the dishonesty that they put out into the world.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you want to say?
First of all, I don't know what this fascination with the right wing and the transgender community, why they're so adamant in attacking this community and creating this havoc all the time. They're using them as a vehicle for political gain and to score points with it because they are empty pocketed with ideas or things of that nature. But the problem is it's working. What they're doing, the vilification of the transgender community, because when I go out and I go to coffee shops, Yemen, like Arabic coffee shops, and I sit down and I drink, I hear people talking. Oh, we don't want this thing in our school in Arabic. They're trying to take out the same thing you hear on Fox News is gaining traction in certain communities who are conservative not because they're conservative, because they are against transgender. Just by nature, they're conservative. They're still religious. They still hold on to certain things. But it's working in this community. This is the problem. And I find it interesting that the right-wing, like Daily Wire, every day they will have a segment on transgender. Every day, whether it's Michael Knowles or Candace Owens or whatever. Or Candace Owen or the other group of people. They always have a segment there to keep that group, to keep on feeding that certain group that has this thing about the transgender. I'm going to be as honest with you as possible. I didn't know anything about this community before 2015. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't even know what it was because I didn't pay attention too much to the news. I only paid enough attention to the news after Trump got elected because when I saw this crazy son of a bitch going nuts and racist, then I started reading and going interested. The whole Obama presidency passed by. I didn't even pay attention, not even one day. So I want to go back to this whole thing. I cannot understand this fascination with these people. I mean, it's like they're attacking them every day. There's something, and they pound it on that hateful of these people and creating an environment where it's dangerous for them. They are getting killed. But you got to understand, the conservative movement will use anything because they're empty of ideas. They don't have no real ideas to present. They have no policy. They don't have nothing. Name one policy for deregulation. All right, see what happened to the trans, right? What they gonna deregulate? You understand? So these people I call them moving targets with empty pockets. They always have a moving target, but when you look at them, they have empty pockets. They have nothing to show for it. That's what it's all about. I mean, first of all, I don't know why the board let that lady, whether she's fake or real, she should not be in front of kids like that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not conservative or anything like that. You understand? I mean, I know we want to.
I believe that was excessive on the school board's part.
Excessive. I mean, that's not right to look. Even if she was real, she could have been dressed. But let's see.
But it's a right winger doing it.
I know. You saw what happened. It's self-destruction. You saw what happened to Project. What was that? Vertis? They kicked that guy out. What's his name? That piece of shit who founded it. What's his name? I forgot his name.
It was crazy.
Huh? You know, Project Righteous, right?
Yeah.
What's that piece of shit name, man? Yeah,
Yeah. I'm aware.
They kicked him out because there's a thing going on with the money and stuff like that. Because it's all about thievery. It's about making money and stealing donors' money. It is. There's gonna be more story to that. Oh, O'Keefe, something like that. His name is O'Keefe or something of that nature. That's crazy, man. I don't know what's going on, man. They just keep on
James O'Keefe.
punching down on these. Okay, this is the same person. What is this photo? Is this an image of the person?
Yeah. Here's this. You know.
This is him, right? Oh,
Yeah. They're the same person. Yeah. This apparently transgender teacher, you know, completely presents as masculine outside of a school setting.
That's him, right?
This don't much look like a woman to me, except for the, you know, maybe long hair. Yeah.
Yeah. But the breasts that they're fake or prosthetic, that means they like plastic, right? Is that what it means?
Yeah. And this teacher is claiming at the same time they're real. Like,
no, they're not.
He claims they are real. Well, okay. What happened to the breast? That must be a really concealing shirt.
He's a fucking plant. What they're doing is they're destroying the image of the transgender community of crazy people who walk into school. Fucking, you can have a bad back. I don't know how the fuck she walks like that if it was real. You can't walk around with these things. You understand? And it is crazy. There's a lot of shit going on. I mean, sometimes when you mix when you mix the stew with a lot of stuff, so you don't know what's true from false. For me, and you will know, but people who are weak-minded, who believe the stuff already, they feed into it. They say, "Oh, look at these crazy look at them. Look at that. They want our kids to go to school and see that. You see these crazy ass people? They're dangerous. They are evil. You understand what I'm saying? That's what they want to do."
Yeah, which is why we've got to stop conservative,
and they succeeded. I'm telling you,
from doing that to children.
My community is so ripe to become Republicans. The only thing they hate Republicans is because of the anti-immigration stand. That's you understand?
They don't care about Muslims.
Yeah, for easy picking, man. Because they have moved this issue. They're winning with this issue. These communities or immigrant communities. I spoke to like maybe 7 different people, when we talk about that, because, I was with, what's her name? Melody, Melody. I had a show with her, and they said, "Well, why are you talking with her?" I said, "What do you mean I'm talking to her? She's intellectual, she's smart, she has an idea. I don't care what she does." He said, "Well, they're trying to, take our kids. They want to put our kids in school. They're trying to take our kids. They want to teach them this stuff that a man is not a man, and this woman is not a woman. We don't want our school." You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, no, they're not doing that. Nobody's doing
leftists
that.
are the NPCs, apparently. Yeah. We're just the ones that will just believe anything, apparently.
Yeah. I'm telling them, I say, that's not true. Don't believe that. This is it's a political war. There's a culture war. I try to explain to them what a culture war is. I'm like saying there's a culture war in the United States. They're just using any weapons they can to score points on each other. Sometimes even it doesn't matter if it's a lie, as long as they score a point, like what they did with the train. Oh, there's a war on white people. Really? How? Oh, you understand? Go ahead, man.
Yeah. Well, if it's a war on white people, it's neoliberalism's war on white people. It's Trump's war on white people because he deregulated this to the point where it caused this disaster.
White people are the fucking victims of their own people, man. Their own elites. The white elites are taking advantage of the poor whites. It's always been like that for 200 or 300 years. You understand? They use the vehicles in wars to go die. Now to go to vote. Every cycle they come up with something. CRT. Now they're not talking about CRT that much like they used to. Remember, it was every day. Now they spam books.
Because
it's a snowflake. He's not going to make it. No?
Yeah, because eventually these moral panics, they're kind of like Ponzi schemes. They fall apart. Some conservatives, grow weary and kind of want out and want to focus on another culture war issue. And some people just aren't motivated enough and start to shift away from the big lie that they're being told. You mean to tell me that this graduate level theory, this post-grad level theory actually about intersectionalism and criminal justice and racism in the legal system,
they're shifting away from Donald Trump. Donald Trump, that's his old news. He's like a comedian with the same materials that he uses. He never had a special to get rid of it. Start new materials.
Well, the same thing's going to happen with DeSantis, because once they realize he's this absolute husk of a politician who only focuses on these half-assed like culture war bills that do absolutely nothing. Like
once he gets out of fucking Florida, he's gonna fucking melt away. Right now, he's running for president in Florida. That's all he's doing. He's scaring those people in there. Oh, the immigrants there. Oh, communism, socialism, the El Salvadorans, whatever, and the Cubans. And he's using all these people. Every day he gets up. What's in the news? Let's say it. And he doesn't know how to function outside that. He's like a, what do you call, like a robotic? You know, there's artificial intelligence that they have now. You write the words and they just say them. Because remember when he had the debate with that guy, he asked him, are you going to run for president? He just froze for like fucking, like 20 seconds? Remember he said, can you tell the people you're not going to run for president if you win the governorship? He's like, he froze. He don't know how to answer that. He's not real. He's not realistic. He's robotic. Trump is going to have a field day. He already called him meatball.
Yeah.
That's just so racist, mother. I call that
because these are the same people that will constantly say, hey, racism against white people, meatball wrong. What?
That's so anti-Italian, man. You know that thing. So I took an opportunity just to knock down on Mike and Knowles because I know he's Italian. He's a piece of shit and he's a racist garbage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He said, did you just call me the M word? I don't know if he's using a sarcastic like the N word. I said, yeah, I called you. You're meatball, man. Meatball Ron. Anyway, the whole idea is that now you have let's go before I know you have more stuff. Like that idiot who just ran for president, what's her name? Nikki Haley. She has nothing to offer. Oh, ageism. Oh, they're too old. What the fuck are you doing? You isolated like a.
You want me to cover her announcing her bid for president?
No, go with the program. What you had? We just add it into it. Go ahead. What you got next?
Okay. Now that you suggest covering Nikki Haley announcing her run, I kind of want to do that. But what I was originally gonna cover was. Good. The typical shit. So we have Matt Walsh, clamoring about Matt Walsh and his, satanic panic, and Lauren Shen. He's a dumbass.
He's fucking nuts, man. The way he talks, he's like, he wrote, I just came home. She's making dinner, and the kids are playing. Leave it to Beaver fucking mentality. Shut the fuck up. You probably get beat up every night by your wife, or probably have rough sex where she pegs him. Come on, man. I know these fucking. You saw Matt Schaub. He was fucking grabbing dicks all over the place. Come on, man. He's a phony. The old cockhold. Remember Jerry Falwell? He was the president of 100,000 student body. He was 2 weeks before he got I carried this gun because those Muslim terrorists come. I have him on video. Shoot him. I will shoot him. You all should carry guns. Shut up. You pay somebody to fuck your wife. Get the fuck out of my face.
I was actually gonna bring something up here. I think it's on my Twitter profile. Here it is. Yeah. Oh, fuck, that's the settings tab. Here, I'm gonna share my screen. Here it is. Here's a convenient list. So if you want to go to my Twitter, you'll find this really handy-dandy list in case somebody calls, a queer person or a liberal or a leftist a pedophile. There you go. It's right here. Convicted.
Dennis Hassett was the fucking Speaker of the House. I don't know for how many years, the longest Speaker Republican. He used to be a college coach. He had a recliner in the children's bathroom so he could watch little kids take shower. That fucking piece of shit. He was conservative. He's hanging around with Bush. He was after Newt Gingrich. He was the Speaker of the House, and he was a pedophile. I'm telling you, man. And if you go to these true crimes, they have this guy who was a senator, I think, in Oklahoma. He got caught looking for a 16-year-old. It's so fucking cringy. And they are sick, man. They're sick.
They are bad men. Bad men. We have either Matt Walsh and him covering the Sam Smith Grammy performance, or we have Lauren Shen raging at Chelsea Handler's video where she was talking about her,
she's the Candace Owen of the Asian community. She wants to be white so bad, and she's defending white nationalism, white Proud Boys, whatever. There's a movement inside the Asian community to become white. like to come like I don't know, man. I don't want to say they're in trouble. Go ahead, let's see what. Who's that?
Yeah. Are you talking about the Korean guy who made that like, oh, white people are so fucking persecuted video?
Yeah, with the when
because
group, right? With the Vice.
No. I'm talking about Vosh covered this. It was a kid who I think was an exchange student in a red sweater. And this fucking video went viral because a lot of Nazis got in on it early and liked it and commented on it.
There's a movement in the they using the Asian community as an adjacent to the white community. I know the Asian community. They're very the Indian and Asian community. They're very obedient when they see white people. They're like they see them as a let's say I know it's gonna sound strange, but it's true. I heard that a lot and I read about it. If somebody gets married to a white person from the Asian, it's like a move up for them. You know what I'm trying to say here? Even you see this alliance where they're suing for affirmative action. They're suing Harvard and all that stuff. And
affirmative action is to ameliorate systemic inequities in hiring and education, higher education. Because we know blacks disproportionately get their applications rejected, so we put affirmative action in place to help these students out. And every time these like Asian and white affirmative action lawsuits take place, it's all traced back to some like really vehemently anti-Semitic group or group with ties to straight up Nazis. So I tread with caution on that front. Okay.
Yeah, I know, but I'm telling you, there's a movement out there. I know it. I read about it. Certain people in the Asian community, I think the young guys, whatever they think they belong to the Caucasian part of the world, or the ideas, or they want to belong to that club. You understand what I'm saying?
Fuck that, man.
Yeah, one time they had this Vietnam kid. He's very smart. He wrote a book or something, and he was with what's his name, Grimes, when he was still on Ryzen. Grimes, what is his name?
Grimes.
Yeah, we Asians, we're higher in mathematics, we're better than the blacks and all that shit. I was so upset. I wanted to fucking respond.
Yeah. If you're an Asian person that aligns with this, like
their parents died in Vietnam, so you could have a life and come to the United States and talk shit on fucking Twitter and all that shit. And black people been here for fucking 400 years. They didn't have the same thing you had. They were slaves. They were beat up. Jim Crow. Systematic racism.
I think I know who you're talking about.
He was with Laura Chin too. He's so. I don't know the way he talks. Shut the fuck. Let's see what let's not get in trouble. Famous anyway. Fuck them.
I'm just gonna say, if you're an Asian that aligns with the sort of let's buddy up with the conservative white people, I'm gonna fucking deck you in a video game, okay? And by that, YouTube, I'm gonna give you a soft pat on the head.
I used to go to college, and in my college, we had we had like the student organizations, we had the Muslim organizations, the Arab organization, and the Muslim organization. There's a lot of Indians and subcontinent Indians or Muslims. I used to see the way when they see the professor, they become so obedient, like a little boy. You're in front of somebody, they look at him as different, godly like. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Put your wings up, man. Talk like a man. What are you doing? That's how they look at it. I don't know what the word is for it, but I know I heard Billy. What's that? A lot of Asians say that. A lot of that. If a girl marries a white guy, or a guy, or Indian marries a white woman, or that, it's like even blacks. Once they become famous, they're marrying to the white. I had that in Twitter. I'm gonna get in trouble today, man. But I'm gonna speak my mind. Okay, free has nothing to do with this, people. Even people, as soon as they become rich or famous, it's like a reward. I'm gonna marry. You know what I'm saying?
Marry up.
Even Ilhan Omar, she married that white guy. Ilhan, what the fuck you doing? You divorced your husband? Let me get out of that, man. Let's go. Let's see what Sandra has to say. We sound an anti-white. Are they gonna use that against us? We love them whites. We especially love the uneducated ones. Go ahead.
Yeah, like this whole, let's buddy up with the conservatives. Like, it's got to be an op of some kind. It's got to be an op.
I feel sorry for poor white people who their kids are dying of opiate. They don't know what's going on. They fucking drinking themselves to death in these towns. That the factories left because of fucking NAFTA, because of these trade policies of investment in different countries. I mean, I don't care. Make something. You could make an umbrella. I'll buy it. It costs $15. I'll buy it here if you make it in America. Say it made in America. I don't care because I want, you know. So these people are victim of their own elite. They need to wake up. There's something called, I want you to read that later, man. It's called something, the Bacon Rebellion. I love this. I don't like the way how it started because you want to think of the Indians. Like this guy named Bacon, he died. But in the long term, he managed to unite poor whites plus indentured servants. You know, the whites were like slaves, but they had to wait 7 years. And black slaves. And they rebuilt it in Jamestown, and they burned the fucking whole capital. I think I don't know if it was Jamestown. They burned it all down. After that, in 1676, this is 1665. In 1671, the white, the name color white became an ethnicity. They finally found out we got to be careful. We got to use these poor whites to our advantage. And after that, that's it.
Because
they've been rioting them since then. The first time that the word white came into I read about this in the Oxford University, you know, the Oxford dictionary, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
In 1671 that they started using the actual word to describe an ethnicity, because in my country we don't describe people according to color. Like you said, I'm black, I'm white. It's considered an ethnicity here in the United States. Right or wrong, right?
Do you think Yugoslavia cared at all about, you know, the race of people? Fuck no. It's culture, it's ethnicity.
I'm gonna show you a picture of my father. My father is fucking black as fuck. I mean, if he was here, you think he's fucking black. My mother is white. She looks Irish, is white. But the way it is that we don't see color. I can't say I'm biracial.
So, but you're both Arabs, right?
Yeah, we don't see that.
Your parents are both Arabs, right?
They're both Arab from the same country, but my father happens to be dark. And when we see people who are very dark, like colored, like black, we say, oh, these are from the region, from the south of the country. We don't see them as black, you know. We see it as regional. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. These guys, like, let's say, oh, these guys are Southerners, or Northerners, or whatever we want to call them, or Westerners. But we don't see that in our eyes. The only time I ever saw that color was an ethnicity is in the United States or Western society. That white has to be a whole swath of group, are not Caucasian, they're not Germans, they're not Italians, they're not. All of a sudden, they just gave them one word, white. The same thing, black. I could understand black. They have no sense of history because they lost their history of the background due to slavery. But you don't see somebody say, I'm a German American, or I'm an Irish. Sometimes the Irish, they do say that, the older. But white is white. For the first time in my life, since I became to being, the only time I ever saw color as an ethnicity or to describe a group of people is in Western society in the United States. In Arabia, you go to Yemen, there's a group called the marginalized. They are Africans. We consider them, we say black, but they're people, they are remnants of Ethiopian who invaded our country. But they don't want they don't want to assimilate. They don't want to assimilate. We call them, but we don't call them black. We call them the marginalized because we see them as marginalized by our government. They're not given their rights. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
One day, you know, I'm gonna take a picture. I'm gonna send it to you in private with my mother and my father. You'll see. My father, he came to the United States in the 60s. I swear to God, he told me. I didn't know what he said. Son, one time in California, there's a certain. They would serve him.
Wow. California, Jesus.
Yeah, because they used to work in the grape, you know, the grape business. They used to work, they used to collect grapes. He said there's certain areas. He says, but he didn't know what that means, and I had to explain to him. He said we sat down there for an hour, and nobody would serve it. I said, oh, well, I told them they thought you were black. That's why. He goes, wait. I said they didn't serve black people in that restaurant. They didn't like it because they're racist. You understand what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
But I don't walk around and say, I'm a biracial guy. No, I'm an Arab. I'm Arab American.
Because.
Go ahead.
We're kind of far off. There's a part of me that wants to stay on the racial discussion, but I know we've got to like get past this and then stream. Anyway, I want to introduce to you, and this is something eventual, but I want to introduce to you the idea that race is like a social construct. Like that doesn't imply, you know, it's all your feelings or some sort of dangerous relativism. No, it's the idea that we as a society classify people into racial categories we've invented based on their phenotype. Because when we see people as black or white or yellow. We're not, getting at their haplogroups and mtDNAing them, and looking at Klein clusters. Nobody does that, because what we do in racial classification is just, hey, this guy looks black. He's black. This guy looks, like an Essler. He's probably, from south of the border. He's probably Latino or something.
Yeah. We used to do in regional terms, not in color, not in ethnicity.
Yeah.
Say, that's that guy. Oh, that's what they're from the south of the country, the south of Yemen. That's why they talk like that.
Yeah.
They're more toward the desert and toward the sun. And we're from the. Go ahead, man. Let's go to the. What's that name?
Chelsea Handler and Lauren Jen. But
yeah,
just last statement. One thing I want to say is that it's the vast consensus of anthropologists and geneticists and evolutionary biologists in saying that race is just a social construct, and races biologically have no basis, because obviously there's like Klein clusters and nonsense, but there's no fine line. There's no absolutely separating line between one race and another. It's just all like, a spectrum, essentially.
Look at Twitter. This is me as a kid with my father. I don't have another picture. You on Twitter?
Yeah, I'm not going to show this on stream.
No, don't show it. This is between me.
Yeah, I'm not going to show.
This is me when I first came to the United States. Look how skinny I was.
Oh my God.
You see how I look? That's my father in front of me. See how dark he is?
God, I honestly would have thought that guy was black. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I could get away with the N-word if I wanted to, but I'm not going to use it. I know that my father, and I have more pictures. He's dark as hell. He's black. And if I show you, I don't have the picture of my mother. I'm gonna send it to you. She looks Irish. She's so white because the region of Yemen she's from, we're very light skinned, like me. See how light skinned I am?
Yeah.
You understand the region we're from? But I happen to take after my mother. I have brothers who take after my father, but in the sense, if you want to classify us, my father will pass for black in the United States. He will be considered a black man. You understand?
Because we just,
right?
the way races are constructed is we just look at people and say, yeah, this guy looks what I think to be black. He is black. Now, your father,
you saw that, right?
He's genetically pretty much Arab, probably like, some percent African, but let's just assume he's mostly Arab. Most black people in the United States are East and South African.
I took my DNA test. I'm 6% from Ethiopia in Africa.
Yeah.
But
that's,
like 95% Arab from the Middle East, Turkish, toward Turkey, toward that. Because you got to understand, Yemen was invaded by not invaded, but it was mixed with Turkish.
The Ottoman.
With Ethiopian blacks and stuff like that. Because we happen to be like 10 minutes, 15 minutes away from the Africa. Like if you see the portion of the Red Sea. Anyway, we got off, but you saw the picture. Don't I pass with you saw me, right? You see how young I looked in that picture? And I was skinny, malnourished.
Yeah.
America. This is when I came to the United States. This is how old I was. I didn't speak not one word of English in that picture. Nothing. You understand? God bless the United States. Go ahead, man. Let's go ahead.
Yeah. So that's how race is, If we were to get, I don't know, your father's genetic test, probably like some percent black, almost entirely Arab. But if we were to take the genetic profiles of most black people in the United States, we'd say, like partially white, mostly East and South African. So these people who are genetically different just look the same. It's all phenotype. That's what I'm trying to say. I'll make that into a segment on its own. Let's just cover. I wanted to do.
Omar is black. We find out that Omar is black, and he's been undercover as a white person. And you know what? We're white in the United States. If you go to 1915, it's called the Dow. I don't know what the lawsuit was. And let me give you a history before we leave. Before the civil rights movement, nobody could become a citizen unless you are white or born in the United States. So a police officer who has to be from Syria, they look very fair skin, was a green card, but he was a police officer in California. He gave a ticket to a white person. They said he cannot give a ticket because he's not considered American citizen. They sued and went up to the appellate court, and they ruled that Arabs, it's called Nema, or it's a North African and Middle Eastern Nema. It's called that are considered a part of the Caucasian race, because at that time they broke the world. The whites, they broke the world three races: the yellow, which is considered Chinese or Oriental, and there's white and there's black. There's only three things. But the problem when they did that, those Arabs were all Christians. Then when the Arabs, the Muslims started coming in the 40s and 30s, then they had another problem. But they can reverse it. And Arabs, they sued because they want to be classified as an ethnicity, because you get a lot of money from the government. But since we're classified as white, we don't get any special funds like for our school, things of that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We sued, but they said no, you're white. I said, but the white people, they say we're not white. So you can't tell us we're white while the racists say we're not white. You got to let us know. But the whole issue here is that color should not be an issue at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You saw my father, right? I mean, if
Yeah.
he was in the 60s, they don't let him even fucking go in a hotel. If he went down south, he was here in the 60s, but he happened to live in New York. But he went to South Carolina. He been colored only. You don't know how to read English. They'll probably beat the shit out of him if you try to get into a hotel or anything. Anyway, go ahead, man.
Yeah, that's an entire segment. We're going to do 8 minutes of this, and then we're just going to dip.
It's me, Chelsea Handler, cis white female, chilling in my trans-friendly bathroom. Because I'm trans-friendly, my bathroom is open to anyone except closeted Republicans. They get pretty freaky in airport bathrooms, so imagine what they would do with this body. Transgender people are some of the bravest people I know. They have the courage to live their lives authentically, despite being shunned and discriminated against in the pursuit of personal peace. We all owe trans people a huge thank you.
So what you just witnessed right there are the comedic stylings of one Chelsea Handler, who is absolutely one of those female comedians
And
that
this
Hollywood
Owens,
keeps shoving in our faces and insisting it's
Yeah.
funny. And she also seems to be one of those people a la Amy Schumer who keeps failing upward, who keeps getting bigger and bigger gigs, even though I've literally never met one of their fans out in the wild. Just one person who's saying, oh my goodness, have you seen the latest Chelsea Handler project? It's so funny. If such a person exists, I have yet to meet him or her. Let's face it, it would probably be her, but still.
If they're giving her those job offers, that's probably because her specials are selling. People, mass mobilize on Amy Schumer's specials. But the reason they keep on giving Amy Schumer more specials is because people hate watch it, and they subscribe to Netflix. They get Netflix for money, and they keep on putting out Amy Schumer documentaries, and Netflix gets more money, and they keep on putting it. So you're the ultimate cause of that, is what I'm trying to say.
What's her name? What's her name?
Lauren Shen.
Right? She's very talented. She's better than Candace. The way she talks, she uses her hands and mouth. She's beautiful. Look at that. But I mean, she's very talented.
Her face is like caked in this, like glycerin foundation.
Look at that. She's talking about let's listen to what she's saying about her. Let me see.
Oh my God, I just don't want to hear her voice.
Mainly for content. You may have seen that she started doing these little, again, usually comedic videos. And of course, because Chelsea Handler is not just a comedian, but also an activist, all of these different videos tend to touch.
I can do the very same thing. Lauren Chen does these, I'm using this term loosely, political commentary videos. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Dreams. Would you want your dreams to be decided by others? I know I wouldn't. You're all perfect. And don't let a politician or a comedian or your weird Uncle Gary tell you otherwise. You are fulfilling your own happiness, and that makes you a better member of society than the hateful people who come after you.
Yeah, conservatives were always spewing the rhetoric of individualism, self-determination, and getting the government off their back, except when you're a transgender person. Then the government in the state can go as far up your ass as they want to, because conservatism is an inherently contradictory ideology. And because these conservative pundits, I mean, they just say what their audiences want to hear, and their audiences won't remember principles that they just espoused 10 seconds ago. Like, they'll instantly forget and just hear what they want to hear in the moment. So let's continue with this crap.
If I lean into my whiteness and start to attack transgender and Arabs and Muslims as a group, I bet you I'll be welcomed in their fold, and I'll probably have some traction in that community and all that stuff. Man, I can't be a hypocrite. They're mad at her. They're even mad at because she said she doesn't have any children. She doesn't have any children. She can't be happy. Why is she happy? Because she doesn't have cis kids running around. Maybe.
Yeah, that's what's gonna come up.
Oh, yeah. Good.
Yeah, I just one comment before we play it back. I just see that as so fascistic because it's so obvious what they're doing. Females should have kids and have kids and have kids. Okay, well, one, you don't give families the support for that. Two, it's like George Carlin. They want live babies so they can be dead soldiers. It's a military slush fund. Okay.
I love that. Yeah.
The hard times are ahead before, but this time it is different. Recently, have you checked the value of
Oh
your
wait,
home or
she's
your
doing
401k?
gold.
Because
Yeah,
it's
she's
plug.
selling
too late.
something.
And mention my
She
name,
just
Lauren
moves
Chelsea
right into it.
Handler
She's
video
very
about being
fucking
confident
intelligent.
in
I used to watch her all the
everyone
time. I stopped.
Yeah.
and to me,
She'll
it
move
just
into a
feels more
commercial. I don't know how
like,
she
This is a
does it.
day in the
Like she segues into something.
Yeah.
She
Remember that I
goes,
have no kids to take to school, so I take an edible, masturbate, and go back to sleep.
So the childlessness thing aside, which we will get to, overall, Chelsea Handler just makes me so depressed for the state of modern American women.
Why? Why? How? Like, are you really letting the fact that this one woman?
Canadian. What those Canadians come fucking around with us? Get out. She's Canadian. Why did you talk about Canada, Laura? Good.
Yeah, because these Canadian right wingers, they're all for nationalism, but American politics get views, so they just talk about our politics.
Grifters, man.
These are the role models that the media.
America for Americans, Canadians for
Yeah,
Canadians, and we need to secure all our borders and keep
Bill Maher,
everybody
right?
out.
You know Bill Maher, right? I don't like him. I think he's a
is trying
Islamophobe.
to lift up. 50
He's worth half $1 billion. He doesn't have any kids. Oprah is worth
Yeah.
billions of dollars. She doesn't have any kids. It doesn't matter. It's by choice. Sometimes people, they get busy with their career. They just love the way they are. They love the lifestyle. You could call them selfish, whatever you want. Or maybe they can't have kids in the first place, but they just don't want to admit it. You understand? You can always adopt. It doesn't matter. But we have these idiots come, oh, you cannot have any kids. I can't believe it. Yeah. How about the kids in the foster care? You have almost 500,000 of kids with no parents.
400,000.
Yeah.
Oh, these people willing to adopt. Don't get an abortion. There's so many people willing to adopt. 400,000, that doesn't speak to the fact that nobody in this country wants to adopt anymore because the social safety nets since the 70s have been entirely slashed. Screw you. Anyway, let's continue on with this blithering woman's nonsense.
I have no screaming kids,
Lauren Shen's
allowing me all
nonsense.
the time in the world to become enlightened.
So Matt Walsh made this point
So
when he addressed
it's
this video on
okay. What Chelsea Handler is doing is that she's not only provoking conservatives by doing this, which is why conservatives should just shut the fuck up about it, but it's a bit. This isn't what anybody actually does in their daily lives.
Enjoys it. She enjoys it. She's getting traction with these idiots. She's pulling me. That's
Yeah,
good. Let her
because
fucking-
she knows it's going to get views.
yeah, let her troll them. It's all about money at the end of the day. Everybody's all about money.
Especially women who are mad at me for like 20.
Yep.
They're gonna be like, why do you want to bring
You're
the
the only
to me?
person when I
But
make
it's like
money.
she's
I've
making
been
jokes.
2 years. I made $90. Good.
Yeah.
I don't think it's out of left field to say
I
that,
got
hey,
$5,000
maybe
worth
she's
of equipment in my room. Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway, to the point, you are 47, Chelsea Handler. You could have easily had children, many children, and still
That's because she doesn't fucking want to, Lauren. Like, what don't you get about
forever
this
as a parent
video?
be
I
waking
don't
up at odd
understand
hours.
this
And also other
people,
people.
man. You can't force people to have babies. What is that?
Because, okay, it's again a military slush fund for them and a maximization of wealth and equality. Because for the first, 18, maybe 14 years of children's lives, pretty much all they do is drain. I think it's like you can work at 14 at the earliest in most states.
If you really look at like a lot of comedians, they don't have no kids. A lot of people, they love their career. They love they go from place to place. They marry to their career. They enjoy. The majority of actors or people, they don't have no children. Like a comedian, like Ari Schaefer, the Israeli guy, Jewish guy. I love him as a comedian. He had a mastectomy. Vextomy, what do we call that thing? They can have babies. They don't have no children. Bobby Lee, all of them. The whole issue is not people choose not to. I mean, it's not an evil thing. I mean, we're not gonna burn them at the stake. We'll call them witches, are we?
Yeah.
I mean, she's just a fucking parrot. This one, her.
And here's another contradiction these conservatives are making. They think liberal and leftist parents molest their children every time they talk to them about, accepting people and just letting people be who they are.
That's what I
Okay.
do.
Well, why would you want a quote unquote groomer to have kids? Because if she's going to end up molesting her kid by, telling her to respect the identities of trans people and, black people, then why would you want that quote unquote woke indoctrination? Wouldn't you just want her to fizzle out? Wouldn't you want her bloodline to die and have that be just one less groomer in society? Why do you need, a quote unquote groomer who's going to produce more subsequent groomers? Wouldn't you want our bloodlines to die out? Shouldn't you be celebrating at the fact that left-leaning people aren't having kids?
Listen,
Another contradiction.
I teach my kids to respect everybody.
other people down.
I say never talk back to anybody. Everybody's good. You have no issue with nobody. We have no issue with nobody. You understand?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just live and live and go by your way. That's it, man. Especially me. I grew up in fucking, I don't know how, I grew up in poor neighborhoods, like minority neighborhoods, blacks and Hispanics. I wasn't accepted. I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't accepted by white kids in school. I used to get beat up by the Italian kids when I was in public school. PS 226. Let me give you a little history. I used to get every day bullied. I didn't speak a word of English. They used to beat me up for no reason and all that. And I don't know who I belonged to. I don't know if I was white, black. I don't know what the hell am I. Then when I got to junior high school, then I found the minority table, like the people, like the ugly or the crazy, the dummies, like the misfits, the nerds. We had our own had our own area, like the lunch room. So I became accepted in that part of the world, and I was accepted by the black kids and the Hispanic kids, and I started to imitate them like a little bit. I used to rap and all that stuff. What I'm trying to say is that sometimes I don't know how to start. Just go ahead. What the fuck? I'm like an old man. I'll go for days. Oh, that's why I said I'm more accepting, because I grew up in these communities and I understand them, and I feel comfortable when I go to these bad neighborhoods. I don't feel scared. You understand? Because I have this vibe. I go in there. They know that they know that I belong there with them, even if I'm not. Go ahead. I love the way she talks with her hands. She's very intelligent, man. She's a very intelligent. She's better. Candy's always the fucking. She looks like a frog. I mean, she's excuse my language. She's fuck. That's just ugly, man. God damn. She wore those fucking yellow colors and all. I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Hey, good. She's old. She's like 47 years old. Chandler.
Yeah.
She used to be big. She used to have a big show on TV, TBS.
Living in squalor is fine.
If kids are able to make someone who seemed, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh wait, yeah. Let's turn the sound up.
Perspective, like maybe it's not such a huge deal if you have some clutter around, but that is coming from someone who admittedly is kind of on the messy side. So I'm sure there are some of you neater people out there who won't share that view. But let's continue.
So it really shouldn't be surprising that some women aren't signing up, but many people aren't just surprised; they're horrified. Childless women are seen as unfulfilled, unhappy. Even the Pope has slammed us, saying that not having children is selfish.
Let's be clear: when it comes to Hollywood and the entertainment industry,
okay, well, if I'm a working class woman. Okay. Yeah. Why would I want to have a kid and raise that child in an environment of absolute squalor and at the very best, like lower middle class subsistence? Why would I want a kid to grow up in that environment? Wouldn't I want to have a kid, okay, in a country with a more developed social safety net in which, I know I have time and the resources to care for my child? No, because they don't actually care about families, because if they did care about families, they'd be hammering the GOP to, get the extended child tax credit passed, 4 months of paid maternity leave, all this stuff. But again,
you just hit on something before you go. That tax credit would have been a good way to give an incentive people to have kids, like poor people, because we have a problem with the birth rate going on. That $300 will go a long way, especially in poor areas. With West Virginia and all these, I'm sorry I keep on going to these areas, but they're really poor. Imagine you have 5 kids, 300 times what? That's $2,500 a month. That's a lot of money. You know how many people they're gonna have money to eat? They're gonna have to lift them. I mean, we should do more for our own people, for our own American people. You understand? Go ahead, man.
Yeah. I mean, you got to vote in these populist Democrats. You've got to organize your workplaces and organize your living places. Form a tenants union. But the leftists, I think they're too complacent with the current order. This is almost done, so that's fine.
Women are facing. And regarding what the Pope said, Chelsea Handler seems just insulted that someone would dare point out that she's childless by choice because she is selfish. But in your own words, it seems like that's exactly the case. You've complained that motherhood is too hard, that it would prevent you from sleeping in, only temporarily, by the way, but still, it would stop you from getting high and all these things. All of these reasons that Chelsea Handler has presented, they all stem from, yes, the fact that she is too selfish to have children.
Well, no, okay, she also brought up the point that,
this video,
like she's already someone predisposed to not having kids. So why would she want this presence in her life? Why wouldn't she want this presence in her life that she knows she's gonna absolutely resent for 18 years and just think of it as an 18-year-long pariah until it grows up fucked up and listens to leftist podcasts. Anyway. So
going to upset some of you watching this.
What's his name? He used to be in the Tonight Show. What's his name? Jay? What's his name?
Leno.
Huh?
Jay Leno.
He doesn't have no kids. and he's filthy rich.
Yeah.
He makes $30 million a year. He said he haven't touched a dollar from his $30 million a year from the Tonight Show. He lives off his comedy income. And he has like 10 garages full of the most expensive cars in the world. And he chose not to have kids. What were you going to say? Well, he's so good. No, he chose that. When I look at it, I'm like, where are you going to leave that money to? I mean, you got to think about the money.
Yeah. Another contradiction. These people constantly espouse, entrepreneurship. Well, okay, it's kind of the same contradiction, but they're espousing entrepreneurship, individualism. Why would I want to just throw money at something that's going to be a drain for at the very least 14 years when I can just get richer by not having kids? Isn't that the most beneficial option?
Yeah, people don't have it. They just don't have the thing for kids, man. Maybe they don't have the patience.
Okay, I'm glad that bullshit is done. We did a lot of like muting of her voice, but God, I don't want to fucking hear her voice.
She's a piece of shit. I haven't listened to her in a long time. I used to have her on my and I used to see. I thought it's just another Candace Owen, just only from the Asian side. That's what she is. Let me hear that thing you said you have. Let me hear those things. Yeah.
What?
The IMAD or what do you call them?
Man. I should have used some of them. Yeah, let me. Okay, what I'm gonna do is pull up a Matt Walsh video and just. I want to be incredulous. Just play sound effects throughout the whole thing.
I'm just gonna watch. Go ahead.
Yeah. Let's just do this for 5 minutes and end stream, okay? Because that's what I wanted to do. Here are my sound effects. Okay, there we go. The tab. There we go. Yeah.
Apparently, they're still doing the Grammy Awards. The second most shocking thing is that from what I read this morning, they gave the Song of the Year honor to Bonnie Raitt, who's a talented and soulful musical artist who actually deserves the recognition. She was able to go up to the stage by herself to accept the award because she wrote and performed the song herself. Compare that to, say, Beyonce, who needs 97 songwriters and 3,000 producers to manufacture her music through an assembly line-like process. But Bonnie Raitt is not the person we're supposed to be celebrating today. Our adulation is supposed to be focused primarily on the singers Kim Petras and Sam Smith. They're both white males, but their win is in the best pop duo category. It's supposed to be a victory for diversity and inclusion, as these are white males who self-identify as something other than white males. Sam Smith claims to be non-binary, while Kim Petras identifies as a transgender woman, quote unquote. Here is Petras accepting the award and congratulating himself for his historic achievement. Listen.
Sam graciously wanted me to accept this award because I'm the first transgender woman to win this award.
Well, let's just skip.
Male who dresses like a woman to win it, but he is the first male winner who claims to be a woman, and this is supposed to be a historic achievement. But here's a perhaps more interesting point about Kim Petras, born Tim Petras. He got gender reassignment, quote unquote, surgery at the age of 16. In fact, back in 2009, the then aspiring pop star did a media tour where he was celebrated for having the courage to live as his true self with the aid of, genital mutilation and drugs and all the rest of it.
Okay, so if I have breast cancer and decide to get a mastectomy, does that constitute genital mutilation? Actually, as a matter of fact, no, surgeries aren't mutilation because mutilation is just injury. But injury is harm. But getting a double mastectomy for a tumor is not harm. So that's, a mutually contradictory concept. Anyway, I should demonstrate more of these sound effects. Get this fuck off the screen. Anyway, more of these sound effects. We have, hey, what does the Daily Wire exist for? You see that joke I made? Yeah. I'm a funny guy. I'm a funny guy.
I told you you're funny. You should do that. You should do when you get a chance, 10 minutes. That's all it takes. Do some crazy shit, man. People like loud people who yell at them or do crazy shit. Because they want to be entertained. Like for us, our video it's about almost an hour and 40 minutes. They're not gonna stay and watch that because it's a lot of stuff they see every day on the news and all that. You know what I'm saying? So they need some entertainment or something, to pull them to keep them going. You understand?
Yeah. What does our audience think about Ben Shapiro? Well, hey, you new viewers, you heard it from, our legacy audience, everywhere. It's all around. People hate Ben Shapiro.
Okay, with his sniveling voice and his absolutely retarded conservative politics. He justifying, wars while, sitting in his, mansion in lovely California or wherever the fuck. It's in Texas.
But, I don't know. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to download.
Huh? Are you ready, mister? Hello? Like you froze there on me. You froze. Yeah! As you can see, my buddy has froze. I'm going to say goodbye for him. I'll see you. Take care, buddy. You froze. Love you, man. Take care, free. See you next time. Bye-bye.